Hi, boys and girls. This is Miss Beatty. Are you ready for our math lesson today? We're going to be doing some two-step problems involving length. Let's get started. Our learning target says, I can solve two-step word problems involving length. Before we start solving word problems, let's do some review. Do you remember when we did arrays? Let's think back. We can write equations to match an array. Pause the video for a few seconds and write two equations to match this butterfly array. Did you write these two equations? The first equation, 4 plus 4 equals 8, is an equation about the rows. Each row of the array has 4 butterflies. 4 plus 4. There are 2 rows. The second equation, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 8, is about the rows, the columns. Each column has 2 butterflies, and there are 4 columns. Notice that both equations have a total of 8. Okay, let's solve some word problems. The first problem is about knitting. Hannah was knitting a blanket on Sunday. When she started knitting the blanket, it was already 6 inches long. She knitted another 7 inches. Then she realized she made a mistake and had to pull out some of the knitting. Her blanket is now 9 inches long. How many inches of knitting did Hannah have to pull out? So I noticed that she started knitting on Sunday, but it wasn't the first time she was knitting because it says her blanket was already 6 inches long. She knitted another 7 inches, so she added to her project, and then she realized she made a mistake and had to pull some of her knitting out. So what we know is that she started at 6, added more, 7 more, and then she pulled out some, but we don't know how much. Then she ended up with a blanket that's now 9 inches long. So what do we want to know? We want to know how many inches of knitting did Hannah have to pull out? So what strategies can we use to find it? Well, I think first we have to know how much she knitted when she added more. What was the total there? So 6 plus 7 is her total before she made her mistake. So let's take a look at what we see when we do that. So she had 6 to start with, 6 inches. Then she added 7 more. We need to find a total. That's our first step. So 6 plus 7. 6 plus 6 I know is a double, and that equals 12. So 6 plus 7 is 1 more, or 13. So her total before she made her mistake was 13 inches. Then the story problem said she had 13 inches and she made a mistake, so she had to take some of her stitches out, but we don't know how many. Then the story tells us she ended up with 9 inches long at the end. So I have to figure out how to find out the missing partner when she subtracted some. How much did she subtract? So if I think about what I know about subtraction, I know that if I subtract this partner from the total, that'll give me the missing partner. And to do that, I could start at 9 and count up to 13. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 4. So our steps look something like this. First step was to find the total when she added stitches. 6 plus 7 is 13. Then we subtracted to find out how many she took away. We subtracted the partner we knew, 9, from 13, and that gave us the missing partner we were trying to find. So we know she pulled 4 inches out. Here's another word problem. Let's practice this one together. Sam was knitting a scarf. It was 9 inches long to start. Sam added another 8 inches of yellow yarn. Then Sam added some inches of blue yarn. Sam's scarf is now 22 inches long. How many inches of blue yarn did Sam knit? So I think we're going to have to do 2 steps again to solve it. So let's see if we can figure out what we know and what we want to find out. We know he was knitting a scarf. It was 9 inches long to start. He added another 8 inches. So our first step would be to find that total. He started with 9 and added 8 more. That's a total of 17, because 8 plus 8 is a double, and that equals 16, and one more, 8 plus 9, would be 17. So far, he has 17, and what we want to find out is how many inches of yarn did he knit in of blue yarn when he knitted extra, he knitted blue, how many? So Sam added some inches of blue, but we don't know how many, and then he ended up with a total of 22. So our second step looks something like this. We knew he had 17, and then he added more blue yarn. We don't know how much. Then he ended up with a total of 22. So I can start with 17 and count up or add on to see how many more I need to add to get to 22. Start with 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's 5. So he added 5 inches of blue yarn. This is an independent word problem to practice. I'd like for you to solve this problem with 2 steps on your own. I'll read the problem and then pause the video and solve it on paper. Then start the video again to check your answer. The problem says, Terry was knitting a blanket. It was 3 feet long. Terry made a mistake and had to pull out 2 feet. Then Terry knitted another 8 feet. How many feet long is Terry's blanket now? Pause the video, solve the problem, and then start again to check your answer. Did your equations look like this? Let's think about it. He started out with 3 feet long. Then he made a mistake and had to pull out 2 feet, so I subtracted 2 from the 3. That meant he only had 1 foot of blanket left. Then he knitted another 8 feet. So 1 plus 8 equals 9. So Terry's blanket was 9 feet long. Here are 2 more problems for you to try. You can use this as your math assignment for the week if you like. Stop the video, read the problems, solve them on paper. We'd love to see your problem-solving skills.